Judge Jackson has quietly and calmly shown her bona fides to be the next Associate Justice and first Black woman on the Supreme Court.
The stuff about, I mean, I can't say this enough, the misinformation about her defense of child pornography, like the people who offend with child pornography, it's not true.
The Republicans, knowing that to be true, spent their time blaring a dog whistle to rally their base for the November elections. Never has the term child pornography been used more in a confirmation hearing than we heard today.
So let's focus on actual child pornography cases.
Child pornographers.
Child pornography cases.
Prepubescent child pornography images.
Pedophiles who produce child pornography.
Let's go back to the child pornography cases.
Senator Hawley talked about the Hawkins case where you had an 18-year-old with pictures of boys as young as 8 being sexually assaulted and raped, and you sentenced him to just 3 months in jail.
The facts of that case are very distinct.
In the Stewart case, you said from the bench, thus, although this is not necessarily an atypical case, your child pornography possession crime was egregious in the court's view. Okay, so this is a bad one. If you're actually sentencing defendants, you said this was egregious. What did you sentence Stewart for? The guidelines said 97 to 121 months. Prosecutor said 97 months. You said it's egregious. 6,700 images. You come in with 57
Time
months.
has expired.
Why
Senators
did you
use 2
sentence
minutes
him to
over the
just
allotted.
57 months in the Stewart case? Do you want to address that? Because you're claiming it's cherry picking. In fact, you're welcome to explain any of these cases, but let's take the Stewart case. Why did you sentence him for half the amount?
The facts of that case are very distinct.
On the internet, with one click, you can receive, you can distribute tens of thousands. You can be doing this for 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, you are looking at 30, 40, 50 years in prison.
I'm trying to understand how you see someone that possesses images of infants and toddlers being sexually violated and you sentence them to 64% below what the prosecutor is asking for.
The facts of that case are very distinct.
You don't provide a justification other than a generic concern that the guidelines are too high. You don't provide a justification as required by statute. So I'm asking you to take the opportunity to explain to this committee and the American people why in 100% of the cases, you have people with vile crimes, and you have language saying they're vile crimes, but then you sentence them to very, very low sentences. And why do you consistently 100% of the time choose to do that?
Well, and so what we're trying to do is be rational in our dealing with some of the most horrible kinds of behavior.
The facts of that case are very distinct.
Judges have to take into account the personal circumstances of the defendant because that's a requirement of Congress.
But let me just ask you about what you said to this defendant. You said to this defendant, for whom you sentenced to only 3 months in prison, that your collection, I'm quoting you, your collection at the time that you were caught was not actually as large as it seems.
There's nothing about her that falls light on that crime.
This is you to the defendant. You were viewing sex acts between children who were not much younger than you, and this whole discussion is about why you're only giving him 3 months. Judge, he was 18. These kids are 8.
The facts of that case are very distinct.
Taking into account not only the guidelines, but also various factors, including the age of the defendant, the circumstances of the defendant.
The facts of that case are very distinct. The facts of that case are very distinct because he was an 18-year-old, he was a teen, and he is gay.